All right. Well, I'm Jason. This is the Number Two Marketing Podcast, and today we are doing our first marketing audit. And we're here with Broadway Collective, and this is Anne. She's the owner. What was your
I
title?
would probably say owner and operator.
Owner operator.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And you got a really cool place here. Tell us about what you got going on.
Yeah, thank you. So essentially, the Broadway Collective was born out of our sister company, outgrowing our office space.
Okay.
And so I was tasked with finding a new office space. We love the Broadway corridor. We love Inglewood. Found this amazing mid-mod building. Built in 1964.
It is really cool. It's got cool style on the outside.
It totally has cool style, lots of fun stories with that too. But we knew this space was too big for us for elevation. So what better way to support other small businesses? Let's turn it into a co-work space. Let's offer the space for people to start, grow, scale their business. And so we offer private offices, dedicated desks, hot desking, conference room space, networking space, event space. So it's really a place where people can come, and hopefully we've designed it in a way where they can come in, super focused, be inspired. Like, I don't work well in white boxes, so I really wanted to design a very beautiful space, but also something that could hopefully kind of get the creative juices going.
I think it really does. That's one place that I noticed first coming in here is just the design of the space. You go to a lot of other co-working spaces, and it's very much corporate office space.
Yes.
And that's it.
Oh,
it's
that
like an
would just
extension
kill
of
my
like
spirit so quickly.
yeah, it's an extension of that, and you have such a different design and different look here, and I think it's really good. It appeals, I think, to a lot, those type of people that want that nice creative space, and I think it shows in your members too. You have a lot of members that do marketing, kind of creative stuff. What else? What do you see as far as your current membership?
Yeah, we do. It's really cool. We have in all types of industries, all types of businesses, from solopreneurs up to satellite offices for big national corporations. So that's been a lot of fun. I mean, it spans the gamut from real estate to, as you said, marketing, to we have, roof line lighting, LED lights that you get to program from your phone, which is really cool. Podcasting, underground tunneling engineers, business coaches. We have a fast food restaurant here that I will not name, but everybody knows it and it's delicious. I'm like, hey, why don't you bring in some food soon?
What are they doing here? Like just a training?
It's just it's their kind of corporate franchisee office.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they use the conference spaces quite a bit. So it's really cool because we can lend a lot of different spaces and ways to utilize and to help either, bring in their employees or bring in your clients. It's a great place to bring in clients. It sets a lot of legitimacy. Plus you can host a really great event or meeting here. So,
Again, I think bringing in clients is a good thing. It gives this very, I don't know, I would say swanky, but I don't know if that's the right term.
Kind of like a sexy hotel vibe, but also like homey,
it's like a boutique
comfortable.
hotel. That's what I see when I come in here. And you came from like hospitality as well before, right?
I did. I was a luxury wedding planner for almost 20 years.
Whoa.
So my very high touch in that industry. So I brought that over here. So high touch with just service here. I hit from a design background, I hit all the senses here too. I mean, you have obviously aesthetic. We have really great smelly, yummy stuff around, but like also the coffee and tea and just all the things that anybody would need to come here, feel comfortable, and just to really hone in on what they're passionate about and what they're doing with their business.
I think that's key too. I mean, working from home, a lot of people are doing, and myself is included, is you have that comfortable feel at home, and I think you kind of have that here too. It's like maybe not in your pajamas, but
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
But you got a kitchen, you got you got all this cool stuff here, and I think it gives that feel to where you can get productive and not and you feel like you're at home, or you have that comfortableness.
Well, and you get to meet really cool people.
Well, you were listing off the businesses there, and one thing I tell a lot of people is, when I do networking or something, is you meet these people that are just like, I didn't even know that was a business, that was a thing.
Right. Yes.
Or that was like a independent business. Yeah, maybe I know some. I knew someone does underground tunnel engineering, but like a business just does that.
Just for that, right?
Yeah, that's
totally
interesting, and I don't know. I like learning about stuff like that. I think it's really interesting, and it's a good place to do that. Is a place like this, huh?
Yeah, and the best feeling is being able to walk one of our members down the hall, like, you have got to meet so and so.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they create a relationship and they collaborate, and then just business grows from there. And that's the one thing that I feel like has been the most rewarding for me, is to see that and be a part of all these individual businesses journey, because we've had quite a few people and businesses that have like, I don't know if this this objective or this business plan is going to fly, but I want to try it
Yeah.
and I want to start it here. And all of a sudden they scale and they grow and they go from a dedicated desk to a small private office to a medium-sized office. And then all of a sudden they outgrow us. I mean,
Yeah.
how cool to be a part of that, someone's history, and to offer that kind of launch space. But then also, like I said, those relationships that you meet along the way. I mean, networking is, we really truly enjoy that. And we host a lot of networking events here because for me, those personal relationships are so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in an environment like this too, where you can be pretty close to other people. It's like you want to like who just like any job, you want to like who you work with, you want to have relationships. Yeah, I think that's, and for people that are solopreneurs, it's a great opportunity just to have people around to just talk to, if nothing else, right?
Absolutely, because you got there's so many different experience levels that we have here. So, like I said, just starting out to CEOs. So, I mean, the stuff that you can learn and the relationships that you can build here are pretty special.
Yeah. Do you facilitate anything like that on a more casual basis? Like, I mean, obviously you have, I think you said you had your women's networking event, you have some other stuff, but as far as just like a happy hour, stuff like that, or
absolutely. In fact, we're the holidays are coming up, so we'll have a member happy hour. But
That's
yes, we do the Ladies Who Network, which is a really amazing networking group that offers the platform for women to meet not only professionally but personally as well. And then we highlight a local nonprofit. We also run a meetup called Tools and Workshops for Business Success. That's a mouthful. I always trip over that.
I'm trying to figure out what the acronym is. Tools, TAWFBS.
But it's where we bring in experts in all the fields. So social media, podcasting, AI, accounting, attorneys. And so that way, it's an evening event where you can come in and learn different aspects about a lot of people want to get in business, right? And they have a really great idea or they have a really amazing skill set, but oh my gosh, I have to start a business. What's the first step, So we bring those professionals together and it creates a really cool evening event.
That's cool.
I'd
like to check that out. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so what I'd like to do today is help you with a little bit of a marketing audit. So understand what you're doing for your marketing currently, how you get leads, current clients, things like that, how you approach them, and then see how you're able to convert them to an actual paying customer. So we'll kind of go over, how do you do outreach? How do you do that top of funnel type of marketing? How you move that person possibly now that they're aware of you, which is the top of the funnel. How you do that middle of funnel marketing, get them more interested, educate them, get them, closer to being a buyer. And then what your strategies are to convert them into a buyer, which, a lot of people attribute to sales, but there's still some marketing strategies there that can convert them. So we can start with, say, top of funnel. Now, top of funnel is typically awareness. You can say interest level on a typical funnel map. You'll see, like I usually do awareness, interest, desire, action, and then advocacy too is after action is like when they purchase, advocacy is them helping you advocate and promote, themselves. So starting at the awareness level, how do you typically get people aware of what you do, aware of what co-working is as well, and what you're offering?
That's such a great question. I think to preface everything, we are just over 2 years new.
Okay.
Co-work industry is very new to me. Like I said, it was born out of the need for office space. So I kind of just went into this, not knowing a lot. And so really how I started all my marketing efforts being that we had to do a whole build out for the building that didn't leave a lot of funds left over to do a lot of great marketing pushes or strategies. And so really how I started is I joined the Inglewood Chamber even prior to opening. I just wanted to get to know Inglewood and the businesses here and how I could support other businesses and just to get to know my neighbors around me. So that's where I started, is joining chambers. And then really from that, I mean, we all know you can make networking a full-time job. So I am in numerous groups, 2 chambers, Firestorm, 2 women's groups, and several others. So I'm constantly out there meeting people, getting our name out. Of course, we started social media. That is not my forte. So, the obvious, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So those were really the first, I guess, baby steps that I have taken to create that awareness.
Awareness level, yeah. And seeing as you do a lot of networking, you have your sort of elevator pitch all worked out and ready to go. Yeah. Give it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, let's
On the
hear it.
spot. Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So we are Broadway Collective. We are
Uh-huh.
a creative co-work space, and we offer office spaces, dedicated desks, hot desking, podcast room, conference rooms, meeting room space, networking space for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. And so we really have tried to, now that I said that, this is different from the pitch, but I think what we try to do is really elevate and set ourselves differently from a lot of other office spaces. And the goal would be then to book a tour, get you here.
Sure.
Once you walk in, I can't tell you how many people walk in and like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I didn't know this was here. This is amazing. And I love this and that. And it feels so good here. I love the vibe. So that's really the big goal, is just to get people here. Because once they're here, then I can explain to them what co-working is, or how the different solutions that we have can hopefully
Might work
help
for their specific business. Or something,
exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's touching on like middle of funnel interest desire level, right? Getting them here.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Would you usually say just like free tour, or do you have a tour or something like that?
Yeah. So,
What's your little pitch
obviously,
on
yeah,
that?
always, yes. So when I have people reach out, the first thing I want to do is obviously let them know what we offer and our amenities, because that's always a big thing for people. Because if they're comparing us to another space, they want to know what we can offer. So letting them know all about that, and then getting a tour booked as quickly as possible, because a lot of times people are looking for that immediate, like, I need office space now. Every once in a while, I get the people that inquire like, oh, I'm looking for office space in the next 2 to 5 months.
Yeah.
But typically it's like, you know what, I really have chosen to invest in myself and my business. I need office space. So getting that tour booked as quickly as possible is the goal. And then once getting them here, obviously showing them the space, but then we also offer like a free day. So if you just want to come in and feel the vibe and get to know the space, then please come in, work here for a day. Let us show you what, we have. So that's another kind of offering that we can do.
Sure. Now, going back to awareness level and say your elevator pitch, I'd like to offer and talk a little bit about that and how to maybe tweak that a little bit. So there's a format, and I've always kind of used it, but I just recently heard another podcast where the woman on there put it in a very good sort of metric, or I guess matrix, not metric. And so it's VBF is what she calls it.
Okay.
Value, benefit, feature. And you kind of start backwards. So say your features are, your offices, your hot desks, you have a nice kitchen, you supply, those are all features, right? What benefit do those offer to your target consumer? And understanding your target consumer is key. I mean, that's where you always back up to, is understanding that target consumer. But so you have to know them first, but then what benefit do those offer? So it's like, she put it as, what superpower do those features give them? Right? So it's like, if they have a hot desk here, they're able to come by whenever they want for maybe, what do you do, like a certain number of hours a month or something like that?
Or just a flat
whenever.
fee.
Just a flat fee,
Yep.
and they can come by whenever they want and
Yep.
use the desk. Okay. So they have a hot desk. That's the feature. The benefit could possibly be that they could just come by whenever they want and use the desk, right? Now, what value does that provide? What problem does that solve in their business? So you kind of touched on it earlier about, being able to show some legitimacy or some professionalism. That might be more for the private office or dedicated desk, whereas maybe the hot desk, if you're talking about that little feature set, what value does that ultimately offer them? And I think if you were to do that for each kind of offering that you have in general, like, don't necessarily get too much in the weeds, but understand like your main offerings, what's the feature, what the benefit is, the superpower they get out of it, and then what the value is. You might find a consistent value that then you can use in your elevator pitch.
Right.
So it's kind of like, when I talk about, my marketing, I help businesses get a grip on their marketing. That's my value proposition, because my target consumer, being a business owner, 3 to 5 million in revenue, they're in that point where it's like, they just don't have a handle quite on everything. They got agencies, they've got different contractors, they've got a lot of things going on internally. They don't have a grip on everything going on in their marketing. I'm going to come in and help them get a grip on the marketing. Now, I do that by my benefits of establishing strategy and tactics to execute, right? And then the features I have are weekly marketing meetings, one-on-ones with their employees, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like when you back it out, you turn it around to get that, but then you have that value statement up front. And the catch with that is, I think sometimes people are a little too cute with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, say if you're a marketing person like myself, what have I heard before? Or they or they get too technical with it, right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
have blah, blah, blah solutions, blah, 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 so how would you then say it at a barbecue? So you can get real
Value.
technical. How would you state that value at a barbecue? You're talking to someone one-on-one, they're like, what do you do? Oh, I'll allow businesses to have a professional workspace anytime they want, or something like that. Like that's a value proposition kind of thing. That's how you'd say it at a barbecue. That's why I say I hope businesses get a grip on their marketing. And where other people, you've seen it. We've all seen it before. All these very convoluted statements, and you're like, I don't really understand what that means.
Right. I still don't understand what you do.
Yeah. So I would start
Yeah.
with, we're Broadway Collective. We help businesses XYZ. There's your value propositions, and then you can elaborate a little bit if you feel that you have the ability to give a little elaboration. We do this by offering hot desking, dedicated offices, podcast studios, pretty much anything a growing business might need for, to look professional or whatever that, again, value proposition might be.
Yeah.
So what do you think your value, like kind of just thinking through it off the cuff? I know obviously this should require some homework and some testing, but off the cuff, what do you say your value really is?
I would say off the cuff at a barbecue. Is that what we're kind of going for?
Yeah, how does that, or just whatever, just thinking.
Yeah, I would really say that we offer really, we offer either creative or amazing space for businesses to scale, grow, or start, or, build. And then I would imagine from that, then you would lead into how or why.
So to me, that sounds a little more like the benefit area, which is a good place to be because not many people even get there. They just talk about, we got desks and offices and whatever. That's just features.
Yeah.
That's a little bit benefit. And I like it. That sounds really good. So what was that? We offer...
space, great space for businesses to start, grow, scale.
Yeah. And I think that's a great benefit. What is that? And maybe you're kind of touching on the value there with the start, grow, scale. That might be good. It's kind of a work in progress, but I think that's kind of good, right? So we offer flexible, attractive spaces for people to start, grow, and scale their business.
Yeah.
I think that's a great starter value statement, and see how people react to that.
Oh yeah. I like that.
I kind of got focused on the spaces at first, but I think that kind of puts it together.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, really? So how do you do that? And then you can say more of the benefits and features of kind of getting more into the weeds of, or ask them questions. I always really recommend to people, well, how would you do that? Well, let me ask you, what kind of business do you have?
Yeah.
And then you can understand what their need is based on what business. Oh, I have an extermination business or something like that. Oh, well, they're going to have a lot of equipment. They're going to have several trucks. They might not be right for you, but you could have a training facility for new hires. I might not be the right place for you to have an office because you probably have a lot of equipment, trucks, and I don't really have all that kind of room. But you know what? You do training when you hire new hires, and just like, you sit down 5 people at a time and try to train them. I got great training space that you can rent at hourly, and it's only XYZ or something like that. So you ask them in return of, like, once you do your little pitch of, and then this permeates then social media posts, advertising, everything else you do. You can start speaking to these specific needs with that overall value statement of flexible and attractive spaces for people to grow, start, or scale their business.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that. Put that on our
Great.
website
Good.
today.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So then, when you're at your chambers, you're networking, you have that nice quick value statement, and then, they might ask you a question, but try to understand them, and then you can craft the next specific offering for, like, what might speak to them a little more specifically. Instead of, if you kind of go on a long list of features, it might just, that doesn't apply to me, then I'll just glaze over kind of thing.
Yeah.
So see if you like that, and you can try that out.
Yeah.
So, and then applying that to social media, I think that's where you get you focus on that value statement overall, but how can you tell that for some individualized people, right? Or individualized types of businesses. The kind of business that just needs a hot desk, the kind of business that needs a private office, the kind of business that needs this great podcasting space that we're using today.
Yeah.
How can you tell those individual stories? And, the great thing about social media that a lot of people don't know or understand these days is how interest-based it is. It used to be you get a bunch of followers, you post something, 20% of your followers see it. Now it's, you still want some followers, you still want that kind of core audience because now you can speak to them in a different way. But you can post something with no followers and get virality and get 100,000 views tomorrow because it's going to serve up to people that want to see it. So even if your social looks very diverse of, like, it's, as long as it's telling that same value statement story, but it seems like it's really targeted to different people, that's okay, because that person that needs a hot desk may not see the private office one.
Yeah.
They're just going to see the hot desk one because they've Googled it, they've searched other co-working spaces, they've searched for that on social. So you can post a lot of that kind of stuff on social media, but it all does come from kind of that overall value statement, especially at that awareness level, because they
Right.
need to know what's in it for me, how you're solving a problem for me, and then go from there. So
Okay. Yeah.
have you done any kind of like awareness advertising or anything like that? I think you mentioned advertising a second ago, but like social media advertising or Google ads or anything like that?
Oh, well, yes. Again, not my wheelhouse.
Sure, sure.
But yes, I have tried to boost ads.
Okay. So you've never hired like an agency or someone that's professional to take care of
Oh,
all those
we
things?
did
Okay.
have one early on,
Mm,
and did a lot of our social, just maybe a post a week, I can't remember.
okay.
And then after that, then I would, tried to boost. I did do Google ads once, but
Yeah.
wow, what a,
Yeah.
you need, that is a full, that's someone else's job to do that. So
Absolutely.
I have to
Absolutely.
say I was a little lost. And even though I would try to, talk with their representative or whoever reached out, it's like, this
Account
is
managers,
not,
they're always, yeah.
yes, gosh, those emails, yeah, get them all the time. So no, I stopped that quite some time ago.
Okay.
So I probably wasn't doing it in the right way to actually see, I don't want to say benefits, but see any really
Return.
big return.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
not a
for
lot
sure.
of, for me, there was not a lot of ROI, but that might have been user error.
Well, I mean, but if you're using an agency, that's kind of the issue too, is they're supposed to be able to walk you through that kind of stuff.
Right.
So yeah,
Yes.
that can be really
Yeah.
frustrating. I've worked with
Yeah.
plenty and it's like, I don't think you have my best interest in mind.
Right. Just help me.
Yeah, yeah. I
Just
mean, I'm
help me.
paying you and like everything's, hey, everything's great. And it's like, but I'm not seeing any more business. Like, I don't understand how this is working. So, do you remember anything like you might have done with the Google, like the awareness level stuff or or the Facebook or was it just keywords, co-working space, things like that?
I think a lot of it was keywords.
Okay.
I have done what we just talked about in the past where this is, here's a room set up for continuing education. Great
Sure.
place to host your classes.
Yeah.
Or so I have tried to break down each asset that we can offer
Mhm,
into so that it can be searchable for if people are looking for something specific.
mhm.
But other than that, that is really kind of the extent of it. I mean,
Okay.
we really do try to bring a lot of awareness to more of our meetups and our
Mhm.
networking groups because I feel like, if you have a great networking group like my Ladies Who Network are amazing. So, you post something there and it just spider webs out amongst the group. So
Sure.
that's really what I've been leaning
Yeah.
on at
Yeah,
this
that's really
point.
good. Yeah. And that's great. I mean, I think people, they think they need to go right to Google ads and Meta and all this kind of stuff right away when, even myself, I did that, start my own marketing thing, but then I stepped back and said, wait a second.
It-
Networking, I got to meet people in the community first. I got to get a couple, a few good clients first and sort of even work out what I'm going to do ultimately.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of people miss that networking edge to the awareness level of just getting the word out there. And it enables you to be at a point too, as if you can convert some clients out of that to, since you've met them, since you've probably got to know them a little bit, you can then sort of get honest feedback from them, right? It's not just some
Absolutely.
random person that bought your stuff that's not going to necessarily tell you the truth.
Mhm.
I think there's something there as well that people kind of miss when they're starting out, and it can really help. It can
Oh,
really help.
absolutely. I think relationships are so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing that I have been doing, and I would love for you to tell me if this is, but
Sure.
I know that especially with AI
Mhm.
and Google and all the things that are crawling all over all of our,
Yeah.
all the things. I do, at least I have been told, and I have continued to do this, to do a blog post.
Sure, yeah.
Blogs were huge about, what was it, 15, 20 years
Even
ago?
just 5 years ago. I mean, it was
And
content
then,
marketing. Yeah.
and then I felt like it kind of plateaued,
Yeah.
and now there's been, at least from what I understand, another big push. So I have been doing that just so that, if anybody's searching, I did a post on most of our private offices have exterior windows. We
Oh.
let in a lot of light. I
Nice.
happened to do a post about that, like
Yeah.
check out our, natural light offices,
Mhm.
exterior windows, and someone called and said, I want to take a tour, all the things. I said, oh, how'd you hear about us? And he said that he had Googled co-work spaces with a lot of light.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, my blog post worked? Like, what? So that was actually
That's cool.
really
That's great.
cool.
That's exactly like what it
because-
should be doing. Yeah.
Right. I had no idea what such a finite
Niche,
detail
yeah.
that would somehow be found
Yeah.
and then let alone trigger that phone call or that email. So that was kind of cool. So I am continuing to do that.
Yeah. There's a few principles there that touches on. So absolutely content marketing, I think, is still a quality effort. So, and you can say content marketing by blog posts. Sometimes it's an educational landing page that's more, and landing page different from blog post being it's like, more details about more product focus, I would say, and your product being the space. Whereas a blog post is more like what you have or what you talk about is why natural lighting is great for your work health or something like that. That's a blog
Mm-hmm.
post, right? It's more very blanket educational, not necessarily just about your business.
Mm.
Where a landing page is more about your business and its offerings and giving more details. Both of those can be considered kind of a content marketing effort. And then you can do videos, content marketing, social media, all that kind of stuff, and it can all link together really well. So like your blog post, you do a blog post about natural light being great for your work health. You do a social media post that's kind of a funny link to it about how, natural light's great, and then showing someone else, maybe there's a video editor that you have here that's like, yeah, perfect, love the natural light. Like they don't want it, right?
Right.
Just kind of show the comparison. But you can link those messages across several platforms is kind of the point. And then you can point people back towards your blog. Now, when you talk about AI and Google and stuff like that, that could be a key awareness level thing I think people miss too. And a lot of agencies really push for the conversion level of Google because that shows return on ad spend right away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas as a business owner, you do need to understand that you need an awareness level. You need people in the top of your funnel. And so Google can really help there. So when people are searching for, say, co-working spaces, and you have a blog post just generally about, why co-working spaces are great for startups. Not necessarily pitching Broadway, there's going to be a link and there's going to be a little call to action at the bottom maybe, but the blog post itself is why co-working spaces can really work for startups. So instead of them just getting a list of co-working space, and all the Google results, they see this blog post, why a co-working space is great for your startup. They click on that instead because, I do want co-working spaces, but what do they have to say or something like that? And so that gives that education, which is kind of middle funnel, top of funnel, right? So it's top of funnel and that you're going to get awareness of co-working spaces and that you are a co-working space. They're going to click through it. Now they're getting educated and you're kind of getting them into the funnel more actively. They're on your page. Now you might be able to retarget them with Facebook ads if they don't have all their privacy settings on. You might be able to capture their email address with a pop-up, things like that, right? You can get them through the funnel that way. But using Google, I think that's a really underutilized tactic, is using Google and also your Facebook and ads and stuff like that too, of just promoting those awareness level content driven ads to get people into the funnel. And the key there would be to know like your customer acquisition cost, how much you can spend, because it's going to add to your ad spend because those people aren't necessarily converting, but the metric you want to look at there is maybe click-throughs, how many impressions you got, things like that. And that those are numbers of people that are actually in your funnel. And now how am I going to move them down, kind of thing. So yes, in short, blog posts are still great.
Okay, good.
With AI, and you can use those in your advertising keyword metrics and stuff like that to reach those people and get it. It's a soft sell kind of thing, right? You can get them in without, blatantly selling them and build that trust and build that effort there. And then as far as the AI system goes, what you'll see, possibly what they're seeing from AI right now, and they call it AEO, answer engine optimization is kind of one of the terms for it, rather than SEO. The AI scraping, and people might have those kinds of questions, what do I need in my office or something like that? And if you have a blog post that's giving tips about that, they're going to show and they're going to link out to you. Now, you're not necessarily going to get a link right there, but what they've shown is people that do click out from the answer engines are very bottom of the funnel. They're ready to like make a decision, or they're ready to move to the next phase very actively, rather than a lot of the Google level traffic is going to be, just searching for like a general answer or a quick hit or something like that. So it is a whole different thing. You're not going to get a lot of that top of the funnel active. You're not going to get those people that are cold leads through the answer engines like ChatGPT. Right. But if you do you're going to get a lot less click-throughs, but when you do get them, if your website's set up correctly, they'll be a lot more high intent, which is key. Yeah. So it's good to understand of where they're coming from and what their intent is, because then when you get them in there, how do you then use that lead, or how do you use that, and what do you do with it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did I explain that well?
Oh yeah, no, that was great. Yeah.
So awareness level. So yeah, I think blog posts are great. And keep just churning those out as whatever you can think of that might be a key, again, value driver. What problem are people looking to solve? Right. And it's a great website for that too. I think it's Answer the Public. Oh. And you can get a free account and get so many searches per day or something per week or something like that. And then you can just enter in like co-working space or hot desk or private office, and it will show you by the who, what's, where's, when's, why's, what questions people are asking of Google that relate to that keyword. Then what you can do with that is then create a blog post based on some of those topics. Right. And so if you see a what question, what is co-working space? Of course, you want to make a blog post for that, right? Because those are questions people are actively, and it tells you volume too. So which ones are high volume? The key thing to look for is high volume but low results, because that shows there's a gap between answers for that question.
Right.
And you can do that through keyword tools on Google and stuff like that too. But I believe it's Answer the Public that has that format. But there's a couple of options like that.
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, you can go in there, and again, it'll give you those questions people are actively asking on Google for those keyword terms that include those keyword terms, and then you can decide if you can make content for those, and then be able to show up on Google and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Answer the Public.
Oh, I need to write that down. I also love that idea of just even how can a co-work space help start a business?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
I love
exactly.
that. So yeah, pain points.
Yeah,
Finding out people's pain points.
Just brainstorming. Get some people in here that are kind of familiar with what you do and close friends, and just jot down all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
And then you can start sorting through what you think is going to be the biggest pain points that you might answer, and talk to your current members too. That's the best place to go. Why did you just initially come looking for a co-working space?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, why did you choose me is a different question. That's in your middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel.
Right.
And why did they choose you? But ask those specific questions of what made you start looking for a co-working space, or start not even a co-working space. What made you start looking for office space in general, right?
Yeah.
So you can grab some of that too. So definitely do those internal interviews and just chat with people. I think that's really key.
Yeah.
And you can buy them lunch or something like that for their time if you want to.
Yeah.
So you have some decent top of funnel, no advertising really yet. I think there's some strategies you could implement there, but obviously with your networking, and you're pretty full here, aren't you?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you're not necessarily hurting for new customers, but you're always going to have some attrition and turnover. So you want to make sure that the funnel's loaded.
Absolutely.
What would you say, focusing on the interest and middle of funnel phase? So interest, desire, this is a phase where people are actively asking questions of your solution.
Okay.
And you want to educate them on how you are different from everybody else, or what you do that's unique. What would you say you do marketing wise within that? Again, so social may absolutely play in, blog posts, things like that too. What else do you think?
Oh gosh, I guess my brain
The
goes.
tours, one thing we talked about.
I think that's where I find the majority of questions are asked.
Okay.
Obviously prior to them getting to the tour, it's like, what space do you have available, price point, and I really try to quantify too, or qualify, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a particular square footage? Are you looking for a particular price point? Like, what are there certain amenities that you're looking for? So I really, before the tour, I try to get to know that person or that business as much as I can. I jump on their website if they have it.
Great. Oh, yeah,
so
that's
I can
great.
kind of just see size or what they're looking for. If they host a lot of things, then I
Yeah.
can say, perfect, this space is great for your evening events, or if you want to start up a networking event. I would say the majority of those questions happen then on the tour, and then that's when I do say, okay, well, I think honestly, at least the feedback I have gotten, the minute they walk in the door, it sets it apart from other spaces near us. So I kind of have that going, which is wonderful. But then we get to talk about, well, we have on-site parking. A lot of places don't. Or if they do, you
especially
have
in Denver. Yeah, real close.
especially in Denver. That's complimentary here. It's first come, first serve. We have, 20 spaces. So I then get to tell people the amenities and all the things that they get here that they may not, if they're doing their research, they may not get other places. So I feel like that's where we flesh out a lot of the needs or pain points or what they're looking for. And then, of course, to kind of keep them, I want to say interested, because they're already interested. Obviously, they're on a tour. But then, we do have incentives.
Well, there's a key psychological thing there where they say people have decided they're going to buy anything within like 3 seconds, right? And something like this might be a little bit different, but I think you've seen it already kind of is there. They come in, they're like, I want to work here. Then what you have to do is help them rationalize the purchase.
Right.
So a lot of that lower, like the benefit features type stuff, or the middle of the funnel is helping them find those reasons to rationalize that purchase, right?
Yes.
I want to work here. Maybe they think it's a lot out of their budget. Maybe they think, it's a little far from whatever those objections might be.
Yeah.
You're trying to help them overcome those objections in order to move them through the funnel. So I think you've kind of seen that. And now that's the kind of the strategies. How do you help them rationalize those ideas of okay, I want to work here now, remove all those barriers.
Right. Like, what hurdles do I have?
Yeah. And so how can you do that effectively? And I think now do you have a lot of those questions not just in your head, but like documented, or what people tend to ask during the tour like the most?
Typically, a lot of it does come down to price point.
Okay.
But it's great because we have all price points.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a very low barrier to entry. So I really feel like we can service all of that. I think the majority of the questions then start to gravitate towards parking or towards those line item things that other places do. Like if you want to print, it's 15 cents per page, or you need to bring in your own, dedicated Wi-Fi, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
dedicated Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi?
Oh, well, yeah, right. Hopefully Wi-Fi. Well, let's say that. Right. But no, it's great because I feel like with what we offer, because it is just one price, I really can put a lot of those objections to rest quickly. And then with our additive incentives, like if you have a private office, good news, you get 6 hours every month in the podcast room or the conference room, or if you want to start up a meetup. So that's really enticing because we do have a lot of companies that need other outside space, meaning conference room space to bring in a client. And so we automatically offer that right through the gate, like right at the start. And then a lot of businesses, especially when they're new or starting up, they want to start up a networking group or do continuing education. Well, great news. We have the space. It's already built in your 6 hours, dedicated desks, you get 3 hours. And then of course we also then do, if you sign a particular lease length, then we also offer incentives on that. So I feel like we have a lot of those little things that kind of tick off all those objections,
absolutely.
So
now do you feel like are those things that you just always planned on offering, or do you feel like they're just built-in things that you're able to then, I feel like you're giving concessions, I think is what I'm saying, or do you feel like those are things that you're just is here and is available and it doesn't cost you anything extra to run or do anything?
I kind of both, maybe both. I think a lot of it, I being that high touch, just offering that I wanted to do, I wanted to make it very easy for businesses to be here. And I think by offering those kind of off the bat, I was like, oh, well, yeah, that just makes a lot of sense. On the flip side of that, of course, I do have competition in the area. And so I do kind of keep up with them. Not kind of, I do. And so it is great to know, like, okay, well, this particular space has one, line items that they do, or they don't have parking, or they don't have this. So I already know if they're coming here that they're looking in the area. And a lot of times they'll even say, oh, I'm looking at several spaces. Well, I already know what the offerings are. And so just making sure that we're always keeping up with those as well. So that it remains kind of, I don't want to say apples to apples.
Even playing field kind of thing, or know how you're differentiated.
Exactly,
There's our EOS friends will recognize this, but part of the EOS process and its good marketing plan is finding your 3 uniques. Each one of them might not be unique to you, but the combination is unique, right? And so it doesn't have to be 3. That's just part of the EOS thing. But what's unique about you? So like on-site parking. Well, yeah, other people have on-site parking, but we have on-site parking and this and this.
Yeah.
Like so, if someone's looking for all 3 of those, you're the only option.
Right.
Right. And so it's good to know, like you're saying, is of what everybody else is doing and how you can compare to them, and then you can speak to their needs and what they're looking for. I want to go. There was another question I had. I wanted to go back to about doing the tours. I don't remember.
It'll come up.
Yeah.
As Phil
We'll just
says,
edit it
in the
back
shower.
in. We'll just edit it back in. So now that you're doing the tours, you have these questions. Do you think you have a lot of those questions like documented, written down, so then you can use them for your content, social media, stuff like that, or do you? Is it all just in your head still?
Gosh, yes. Isn't that that is
Sorry, I
the
didn't mean
bane
to call
of
you
probably
out.
all entrepreneurs, right? It's
Yeah.
always in our heads
Yeah.
until we can actually, work with people to help get it out and do all
Absolutely.
the things that we need them to do and help us. I would say a lot of it is in my head,
Okay.
just because, I'm here. I'm the one running the show. I'm the one doing all the things, wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
So yes, I would imagine most of them are in my head.
Well, I think that's a good thing. Start documenting them.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously document your answers, and then come up with some ideas about how you can just visually show those answers. Kind of like we talked we were just in the Firestorm meeting, and we talked about the idea for social media posts getting away from your family during the holidays, because right now it's
brilliant.
we're coming into Halloween and November and all the holidays. So we talked about having sort of a clip of some movie or TV show where it's all rowdy and loud, and then it cuts to here and it's so serene and you're away from everybody, and just that idea, right? So like, what are some of those answers you have that you can kind of create that social? And you should do both, by the way. You should do that kind of fun post that just hints at the, or displays the answer, but you're not selling. And then you should do a straight up this is how we compare. Like you should do all
Yeah.
of those, but that's good. Again, the social media can also work in that middle of the funnel level as well as your blog posts, especially your email marketing. If you have them, if you get their email address and you're able to send them emails with these types of, answers, or if you know where they are in the funnel, they're not a customer yet, but they subscribed. These are the answers they want to know. Top 5 questions people have about co-working spaces or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's great things to use for all those channels as well. So social media isn't just about awareness, which a lot of people think about. And especially once you have followers. So if someone actually follows Broadway Collective, that's where your stories come in. And a lot of people don't think about that too. Is stories is actually speaking to the people that follow you. So
that's so true.
what do those people want to see? That's great behind the scenes stuff. That's a great place to answer questions because they're middle of the funnel. They have questions. They have interest that maybe they haven't asked out loud. You can get some of that information in there. But then also it's for people that are our customers or our clients, and you can kind of show these funny inside jokes around here or something like that too. So I think keep that in mind too. But definitely first get those questions documented. I think that's key.
Yeah.
Get some of your answers, and then from those answers you can start ideating, 3 or 4 posts per answer.
That's great.
And then now you got, maybe you got 4 or 5 weeks of posts right there.
Right.
Just for the one question.
Right.
Right. So that's what a lot of people struggle with is like, what do I post on social media?
Totally.
Build it out like that. What are questions people have? What are, what value that we talked about top of the funnel being like, what value proposition do I have? This is a great place to start, grow, scale your business, whatever you want to say there. How can I, split that off into saying that 5, 10 different ways? So then now you have, 3 or 4 posts a week pretty easily right there.
Yeah, right.
That'll run out, but you kind of keep doing the same thing, Now maybe you got top 10 questions. You got a couple answers for each, 3 to 4 posts for each. I mean, you're 60, 80 posts right there.
That's amazing.
Over time, and it make it sound easy, but that at least gives you that direction, which so many people lack. I don't even know what to post.
Right. And
right now you have these ideas, and then when things come up and things happen, you can capture it, or you can shoot something real quick or whatever.
I think that's one of my biggest challenges.
Yeah, which is what to post.
I don't know what to do,
I don't even know
and I
what
don't want to be in
post.
front of the camera. And not that you have to be, but it's so arm's length for me sometimes. And so I need to get better.
Yeah, my wife's doing bookkeeping, and she's like, trying to encourage her to do a little bit of social media. She's got a bunch of clients right now and stuff because of subcontracting, but it's the same thing. I don't want to be in front of the camera, So there's a lot of ways to do that too. You can do voiceovers. You can do, just text on the screen. You can do that kind of stuff. So don't be limited by that. How can I answer this question now where I'm not on camera?
Yeah, right.
And I can still communicate all this kind of stuff. You can do a walk. You can just have text on the screen, but the background is just like a walking video of the space. The text is on the screen. That's still eye catching and stuff like that. So not to mention all the different formats you have online and for posts and things like that too. So okay. So probably need to work on some middle of the funnel social. And then, do you do any email marketing or anything like that? Do you have an email list you're building? I keep calling you out. I'm sorry.
I
don't
know.
make you feel bad.
No, I don't feel bad. It's one of those things, again, like there are so many things to do that it just keeps falling down the list.
Yeah.
So if you were to go to our website, there is a little box like subscribe.
Sure.
That's working.
Perfect. That's where you start.
That's where I start. That's about as far as I've gone. I have tried to set up a newsletter. I just honestly need someone to set it up for me, and then I can just fill it in. It's that busy work. It's that stuff that takes so much time that I just don't have time for. If I can get it set up, and then I can just drop in pictures and text and send it out, I would. I do an internal monthly
that's good.
For our members. Like, here are the events that are coming up. I also post those around, the collective as well. So I do that internally, but I know that I have a huge mailing list just with all the networking events that we do. I just need to be able to, culminate all of that and then actually get something where I can, like I said, produce and send out.
Well, and the key there too is for emails, especially once you have their email address, is that you want to provide value. People unsubscribe because they don't feel like they're getting value. Even if you can, certain brands, you've seen it, I'm sure, they'll email you every single day.
Oh gosh, yes.
Or twice a week or 3 times. But if there's value there, you'll keep, even if maybe you see the headline, like, I don't care about that one, but you're still going to say subscribe because overall you're getting value. So as long as you provide value, and I think your internal one is key, because a lot of people forget about that kind of stuff. What am I doing with my current customers, my current clients? And that's, I think, could be all the way down at the advocacy level, of once they convert in their client, that's a great bottom of the funnel or funnel refill, I would say, type of level, because you're giving them value by networking events, what's going on in the building, keeping them updated, maybe a customer spot or a client spotlight. I'm sure
Yep.
maybe you've done and stuff in the past. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's great extra value that gives people, even if it's not something they sort of actively engage with all the time, it's in their head of extra value that you're providing that they may want to recommend you or something like that in the future. So that's
Yeah.
good. But not, and so do you see active signups on there, or is it really just kind of random?
From the website?
Yeah, like a couple here and there.
Here and there.
Okay. So no pop-up that's like stops people.
No, it's not a pop-up. I went back and forth on that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get really annoyed with websites,
Yeah.
especially if I want something now. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop distracting.
Well, that's when they do like 3 or 4. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Hate that for sure.
Right. So no, ours is at the bottom, which probably needs a little bit more visibility.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I would do the pop-up. I've done it for a couple of my clients so far that were totally against it, and it completely changed their mind. It went from like 20 to 30 a week
interesting.
to like 100 to 200 a week.
Wow.
Because it stops people in their tracks. And people, as long as you just have the thing where if they close it, they don't see it for like 30 days again or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Or a week or whatever, depending on your business. But for you, I'm sure 30 days or something like that. There's a lot of good tools for that. But
yeah.
But I do think it's important. But get what you're going to be delivering to them first together. I wouldn't start highlighting the signups until you know what you're doing and you have a good plan for that to provide them value. And even if you just do once a month, I mean, I'd try to eventually get to maybe at least a couple times a month, if not once a week. But, because sometimes you might be talking to people that haven't been a client yet that stopped because of budgetary concerns and you want them, they might be coming back. There's a lot of different cohorts you have there or different segments, as they call them, that you can email to as well. And then maybe each person only gets once a month. You're sending once a week, but because you have them in different segments, they're only getting maybe a couple times a month or something like that too. But as long as you're providing value and you kind of plan that out. And I think it's along the lines of those questions and stuff too, of identifying what people want to hear about from you, figuring out your answers, and then, being able to produce a few different versions of those answers as well. So
yeah.
So it could be really handy. And especially for all these people that have just taken tours or you just met networking or something like that. You could get them to that next level, right down the bottom kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what about like bottom of the funnel? So getting people via marketing, obviously there's sales tactics and one-to-one sales tactics. Those are great, and you've talked about those. Do you have anything marketing-wise, whether it's automated, just in-person, that you do to try to get them to convert? Say they take a tour. What do you do next?
Oh gosh, I'm so analog. Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet.
Hey, all right.
Where I log all, their names, their entities,
That's okay.
where they came from, because I want to be able to track that. And then, when I email them the dates so I can keep up with that, when they've scheduled the tour, if they end up booking. So I do keep that. And so really it's not necessarily a, what would I say, systematic system, but I will then go in and like, oh, you know what? I haven't heard back from so-and-so. Let me send another email. So I do keep, I probably touch points maybe depending on their level of interest, usually around 3.
Okay.
So we have, the initial email, then usually a tour happens. So that's then 2. And then I would do 2 more follow-up emails depending on,
Okay.
And then I usually ask if for some reason they're like, oh, I'm not interested at this time. And I usually try to get feedback because I would love to know.
Yeah, why?
Exactly.
What stopped you? And, grain of salt with that because sometimes they might lie to you, right?
Totally.
Oh, it's just not the budget right now.
It's just,
but
right, yeah.
They didn't like the scent you had going on, something right. Like something you're not going to change anyway, so whatever. But,
right, yeah.
Okay. What, what you might try, there's a platform I found, and I'm not affiliated with them at all, I just kind of played with it, is Brevo. And they've got a free level of marketing automation and like CRM. And you've heard of CRM, right? Like customer relationship management. Yeah. So I've been using it a little bit. I'm not as active in it because I just don't have like a lot of incoming leads right now. But it's got some great functions of you can build that funnel of what stage people are in, of the deal, right? They usually call them deals or something like that in CRMs. That's because it's a sales tool. But if someone's taking a tour, what's their next step? And you can fire off automations in there, which is really good. So like if someone came and took a tour and you move them to like the took a tour section, you can then automate that follow-up email sequence. So you can send them, of course, you might want to be more personal sometimes, right? And maybe the last touch alerts you and then you personally contact them. But you've sent them 2 emails, the system, and in the email, it calls them to say, book a meeting, which is what I have, right? So it's like, if I put them in the system or if they download my sheet, I have like a checklist thing I think I shared with you guys as well. So if they download that, they get an email saying, hey, book a meeting. If they don't book a meeting, a week later, they'll get another email. They still don't book a week. They'll get one more, and I'll say, hey, last chance, just offering a free 20-minute review of that checklist. So you can have those kind of triggers where it just does that, and you don't have to touch it.
Yeah.
And then, but again, that last, if you want to be hands-on, which is great, and you absolutely should, you're in hospitality. That's all part of what you offer here.
Mm-hmm.
That last one, you maybe email them twice, and the last one alerts you this person hasn't done anything, and then you can personally follow up, give them a call, something like that too.
Yeah.
So I think it's
I like
great
that.
using a simple automation. It's this platform's this certain level is totally free, which gives you the chance to kind of play with it, use it, and then I think they have annual contracts, all that kind of stuff. But I'd suggest something like that to kind of, if that starts becoming like you have a lot of leads and you're always kind of like, oh shoot, where was that guy at? You can take notes on them in there. You have this sort of like board where you can move them between the stages of where they might be at. And a key thing I learned actually through HubSpot's like training. HubSpot's, great, but it's a lot more pricey.
Okay.
But the key thing I learned is when you create that funnel or that deal funnel, which is kind of like the bottom of your marketing funnel. Once they get down there, that's what you're starting. Where are they at from their perspective? Mm-hmm. So they took a tour, they're considering the offer, they're talking to their boss. Those are like the phases of that that deal phases that you have from their perspective. So you understand where they're at from their perspective, and you can speak to that when you move them around. So that could be a strategy there too.
I like that.
But yeah, automation. There's a lot of platforms out there. Again, Bravo's just one I found. But some kind of automation might be really good. You just kind of stick them in that level, and they get a few emails, and then you just get the follow up when they maybe don't take the action you want them to.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
Again, everything takes time to do, but
right. Well,
ideas.
But once you automate it, that's the whole goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, set aside a few days to learn it over time, of course, but a few days to learn it, figure it out. Maybe get someone that can create a nice looking email, and then you're good to go. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, and then you just monitor it from there and see, are people taking next steps, and if they're not, what might you tweak? Then you kind of just tweak from there. That's a big thing about a lot of this stuff too. Is what do you tweak from there? What if something's not working? What now do you change? What do you look at? So.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you don't have a website where people check out. You don't have anything like that, right? Like they don't. Do they book the tour on the website, or is it all just manually too?
That's all manual.
Okay.
Yeah, I've thought about that. It's one of those things where, because I don't have a community manager, it is me.
All in consideration too. That's why I'm throwing out a lot.
No, it's all.
But it's like you got to kind of pick what you can work on now. I get it.
Right. No, I've thought about that briefly in the past, and then I get really possessive of. I know that you can block off calendars, so I know that you can put out whatever you need. But I don't know. There's something about that, and this is from my previous career and probably a little bit my age. But there's just something about that super tactile, one-on-one, high touch.
Yeah.
So
and again, you're trying to create a hospitality type space here, so that makes sense for you for sure.
Yeah.
But how do you scale that, right?
How do you make it simpler on yourself?
Yeah. How do you make it easier on yourself as the owner to work on the business rather than in the business?
Yeah. But I do like that idea because, if it's on the website, then that's just easy. Again, another low barrier to entry to get information or to schedule that tour. Because to me, if you're on the website already, it's already, when I say impersonal, it's not like you've called me or someone.
It's not like they called you and say, "Oh no, just go to the website and you hang up on them."
Right. So like they're looking for that more impersonal. I just need to get information.
Yep.
So I actually don't mind the button there. So that could absolutely work.
Yeah, because also it's like there's a good customer service book. I got my titles mixed up in my head all of a sudden real quick, but Effortless Experience, the Effortless Experience. And it's about effortless customer experience. And you have multiple ways people want to book with you. Some people are always going to pick up the phone and call you, right? But some people don't want to talk to anybody, right? Especially in a lot of new younger generation. Like a lot of people, I mean, even not that young, but they'd rather just click book and get on with their day kind of thing. Yeah. So what can you do to make it effortless for some of these different types of personalities? I think that's really key. Yeah. And that book talks about these different types of personalities that people might have and how you can decide how you can serve them in how they want to be served. Mm-hmm. So just because you put a button on your website doesn't mean everybody has to go through the button. It's just giving that maybe type of person the opportunity to book that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Yeah. Maybe you've lost some people in the funnel because they got your website and they're like, I don't know what to do next. I don't want to call anybody. I don't want to pick up the phone and call anybody. My daughter will not call anybody.
Yeah.
It's like
kids.
Yeah. People she knows.
Yeah. Right.
She's 21. She won't call anybody. She always wants
Right.
a message or something too. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's another thing too on your website. There's chatbots you can have,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, yeah.
they can go right to your phone if you want to have a personal touch. There's a lot of these chatbots that are integrating AI to the effect of they can search your website more dynamically and understand what's on and answer more naturally. And some people may not like that, but you just be transparent. Hey, I can answer quick questions. If you want to talk to a real person, just type in Ann and I'll get you right to Ann or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and that again, people might just want quick answers, and that just facilitates them to get what they want quickly and
Yeah.
down the funnel quicker. So that could be a good, middle funnel conversion tool where people just get some quick answers because they don't want to go poke around your website. Not that I don't think your website's all that complicated, but
Right. But no, I would imagine price, that would be the one, probably number one question I would get asked.
Yeah.
If I had that side chat.
Exactly. And you can train it in certain ways too. I just started onboarding with one for one of my clients, and I'm not familiar with it, so I don't want to mention them yet, but they have opportunities to train based on questions where it's like an AI prompt. Like you're not telling it exactly what to say. You're just giving it like, well, if someone asks this, ask them what their budget is. And then based on budget, give them the right answers. Like it's going to be a simple prompt kind of like that. So it'll respond in certain ways to do almost like what you would do in person, like you said, when you network or when people come in here, and they say, well, what are your rates? It's like, well, what kind of business do you have? What do you do? Oh, I do this. Oh, well, this would be great for you. And these run X to Y, right? You're able to give them that more specific answer tailored to them. And the chatbots can be trained to do that kind of stuff too. Or again, they can get right through to a customer or to a, yourself or somebody else too. Yeah. So again, you're just giving people those extra, people that don't want to talk to you for whatever reason, those abilities to, get through some way or get their answers they want and get further in the funnel without, and it being effortless somewhat for them, which is key. Yeah. But they're tools on your website and stuff. So. Yeah.
Another thing I need to add to the list.
I know.
But all good. So good. So
I know.
Good, so
and that's where, and so maybe that's the next step we talk about is what do you think you want to implement first? What do you think you want to work on next? Because even when I'm doing weekly marketing meetings with my clients, and we have a scorecard, which again is another kind of EOS thing, we only have things on the scorecard that matter to us right now this quarter. So for marketing, there's all types of stuff. Return on ad spend. There's all kinds of other KPIs like, customer acquisition cost you should monitor, click-through rates, open rates for emails, like all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, look at those numbers. Okay, click-through rates pretty stable and within industry parameters. Our open rates are really solid. But what we're not getting is time on the site. Maybe people are bouncing too quick. So we work on time on the site. That's the overall initiative that's the overall idea for the quarter or rock. And then we are saying, okay, how can we get people to spend better time on site? Well, are they when they're clicking from the email to the website, is that an expected next step? Or are we sending them to the homepage and they have no idea what to do next? We said, hey, check out this specific offering we have. They click through the website and they're just on the homepage. So like, those are the things that helps us plan initiatives for the quarter kind of thing. So, but we only work on like a couple things at a time in order to monitor that KPI. So that in mind, all these ideas, of course, there are a ton of them here. What do you think you want to implement in the next, say quarter? 90 days.
Gosh, that's a great question. I really love the piece about answering one question and breaking it down into different social media posts. Like that to me seems, when I say easy, very easy.
Absolutely.
Just finding the time, right? But doing that will provide you a lot of content.
Absolutely.
Which is, we all could use that.
And you're able to hand that off too a little bit if you have someone that can help you with something.
Exactly. Yeah. I do love the idea of automation. I know that I have not.
Yeah, I may not be ready for it. But.
No, but I think it's, why not, right? Like, I don't know why I have been resistant to. I don't say resistant. I just haven't. It hasn't even really crossed my mind, to be honest. Yeah. But I think that would be great. Even like you said, the newsletters or a CRM where a couple things get sent out on my behalf.
Exactly.
I don't have to necessarily worry about it, but then I would follow up.
If you find yourself already doing something very methodically, like you always send the same follow-up email. It's like, hey, how did you enjoy your tour or something like that? Or, maybe you want to be a little more personal. Your own inkling is to be a little more personal there, but you still just send the same basic email. That's a place for automation.
Yes.
But if you find that you still have to get on the phone with people eventually to convert them, then that's just part of your automation. It just, again, alerts you, get on the phone with them. You already sent a couple emails. they haven't booked another tour or booked a time to talk about what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So automation doesn't have to be start to finish. It can just help you get a few
Right.
easy things, repetitive things done in the middle,
Yeah.
which is key. I think you can think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Enable you just to be more effective and be more efficient.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
save time.
Save time. Yeah, exactly.
That's, we all could use a little
Yep,
of that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make that content. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Even if it's just, you can get to a place too where maybe you have high value clients and you have them in a different funnel because they want to rent, they want to agree to their monthly training here every single month for the next 6 months.
Right.
Well, maybe then that automation is just alerting you to follow up. Again, it doesn't have to be that it's automated communication with them.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have those automations just to alert you or just to tell you to do something. That's great.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I like the Q&As to create content too. I think that's a great place to start because you obviously have a pretty full house here. You have a lot of people here, and you just need to get people. Mainly need to get people, I think, in the funnel,
Yes.
and interested and aware.
Yeah.
I think it's a great place to start for creating social media content. Maybe creating a couple blog posts that you might be missing based on those questions or something like that, and just create that kind of incoming funnel that you can work on as you need it, or go back to. Say if you lose a couple customers randomly.
Mm-hmm.
You have these leads, so to speak, or you have this activity you can, then try to push people down to the conversion level or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, any additional questions you wanted to address or talk about, or any things
Gosh.
that you've been wondering about?
Oh, I'm sure I'll have some the minute we walk out the door.
No worries.
Right?
Hey, Jason, number 2, cutting in here. At that point, the audio had some issues, and we basically ended the interview. So, that's what happens in your first shot at a podcast, and you're trying something new. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you have any suggestions or would like to be a future guest, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching.